knowing where to draw that line too, and knowing your own self. Like you can ask Eddie and the other team. Like sometimes I'll wake up, I don't know why I'm just in a bad mood, and I'm like, my team doesn't deserve this side of me, and so I'll literally send a text out group chat, hey guys, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm in a bad mood. I'm not really in the right mindset to really kind of talk. Give me an hour and I'll be back, and I'll go on a walk. I'll do some reflection, drink some coffee, and it's like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to like be there for my team now. Like I'm there. Like, and I'm trying to save them from that. You know what I mean? So I think being aware of like kind of what mood you're in, and kind of being able to manage that and protect others from that. They don't deserve that. You know what I mean? They deserve the best of you.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to yet another episode of Electricpreneur Secrets, the Electricians podcast. I'm your host, Clay Newmeyer. With me, as always, my esteemed co-host, Joseph Lucani, and we are the Electricpreneurs, a couple of master electricians with business addictions here and ready to serve. Serve who? Serve you. If you're an electrician out there looking to master your sales, simplify your pricing, or deliver premium level electrical service, then you, my friend, are in the right place. And on this podcast, this is no exception. We got some boys here that we haven't interviewed or chatted with in a while that are back from episode 3 with Edward Rivera and Eddie Cruz. Oh my gosh. That one was titled Get Fired Up and Fire Yourself. We talked so much about some of the fundamentals of business, really getting this stuff right, but also building up an enterprise and a culture that's actually culturally significant that people want to work for, and some strategies to do that. Well, today it's been a while, but we're going to get back to this with some more forward thinking, some innovation, niching down to tie perfectly into this week and everything that these guys have been up to, which is pretty exciting stuff. We just thought it'd be pretty entertaining. Joe, first and foremost, how are you doing today, brother?
Man, I appreciate you asking. I feel absolutely blessed. It's been a great day. The class was amazing this morning. I had an absolutely great time. When you told me that we had this conversation on lock, I was really looking forward to talking to the Eddies. It's just one of those things where I'm feeling very grateful to be where I am, and I'm even more grateful to be working with someone like yourself.
Awesome, brother. I'm feeling
How you
good
holding
too.
up today?
Absolutely. Nothing but grace, man. Some days, actually, it's more like 5 days a week. We just kind of wake up and realize, hey, we're back to serving electricpreneurs again. And in all the different ways that we receive praise and get to see results and get to help people with their challenges, every single moment of it makes me reflect on how grateful I am for this journey and these guys who are with us. So let's get them introduced. Ion Electrical, team size right around 10. Niching down, I think last time we spoke, these guys were kind of doing construction, service. I'm going to let them speak to this, but really exciting stuff for you guys. So Eddie, join us. Edward, join us. Say hello, and let's get this conversation kicked off.
Let's go. This is awesome, man. This is love the introduction.
Oh yeah,
this is awesome, man. This is like I said, from a year ago, from our last conversation, it's a lot has changed, a lot has happened. It's a lot of exciting stuff, and me and Eddie are really excited to talk about all of that.
The last time we didn't even have an intro, right? It was just a conversation. I think we were having a discovery call, and we were like at the end, wait, I think I saw on Edward's wall, you had foam on the back, and I was like, wait, you got acoustic, what do you call those things? Paneling.
Acoustic backing.
Yeah, acoustic backing behind you. And you guys were like, yeah, we want to do a podcast someday. Here we are the second time. Edward, how about you, brother? How are you doing today?
Doing great. Like we were talking about before we got on, I couldn't be happier with everything, for many different reasons, but mainly because since then, with the foam and everything, it's all kind of, there's a method to the madness, and we're still working on that. We were literally just talking about that. Like, okay, like we're niching down, and you asked this question earlier, Clay, like how are we doing that? It kind of comes back to the video thing. The reason why we got the mics and stuff is we're going to be pumping out crazy amount of content that's just going to drive leads back to us for those specific things only. You know what I mean? And then I was just telling Eddie, my brain's changing because we talk about this so much now. When I get up to speak, it just comes just right away. It's like a word track that like I just off the tongue now. I sound like an expert. You know what I mean? I guess you could say.
Joe, I see you going after that. I got to call a timeout right there because we know so many people struggle with that exact thing. Like, when is it just going to feel natural in a word track for me? Can we just take a moment and give Joe, actually, I'll let you run this one, but I see you pumped up.
We're parallel. I mean, literally, like, it was one of those things that I was going to ask an extremely similar question. So I think it's really interesting that you are on the same page with that. But please tell us a little bit more about what made you want to do that. Like the 5 things you originally, what we talked about was the areas you want to niche in. And I like that they're narrowing the focus, but also generating more leads for it. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so me and Eddie, like the reason why we drive so much, and I can tell you and Clay are the same way, is like we're just on the same wavelength where no matter what we do, we're always trying to run it lean, efficient, high level, high quality, everything. Like everybody's premium is our standard. You know what I mean? So with that being said, like same thing with the business and everything else, we're noticing like, oh man, like we're making the most money on these very particular ones. Oh, and it just so happens that we love talking about it on and like in and out of work. We'll be on all over the weekend chatting about AI and technology and all this stuff. And then it just naturally threads into our business. And so that's what kind of motivated this whole thing. And I think what really was putting the final decision maker on there was 2 major things were happening. Eddie went out to a conference on behalf of Ion, just to level up again, learn more. And at the same time, I entered this program called the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. The major theme of that is to identify a major opportunity that could elevate your business to the next level, and so they run you through the ringer with coaches and mentors. And long story short, me and Eddie, he calls me at the airport, he's heading back, and we're on the phone, we're both excited. I go first and I'm like, dude, I got this idea for like all this stuff, smart home packages, like it's going to help people save money, get off the grid. It's going to make them homeowners again. And we go through and he goes, dude, I literally have notes here saying almost the same thing. Like I was like, we got to put together like these packages, like custom made towards people's needs, meeting them where they're at. And so it was just wild. And so we've been kind of just riding that wave since then. And we've just been trying to fine tune it and correcting course, to really brand ourselves.
That was so crazy when I called him at the airport. I'm like, dude, I got all these ideas, but I got these top 3 out of all the ideas that are written down. I got these top 3 that we could implement realistically in the next month and dates and everything. And those top 3 were the exact same top 3 he had. And it was just like insane. That it was just like, damn, okay, cool. Like this is follow this energy, this follows this wavelength, and and the results are, are the results now. So
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
That. And it's also really cool how like some people say, and it's a frequently made quote, that the fastest sinking ship is a partnership. But both Clay and I and you two Eddies are exact opposite scenarios where you find the right person and it just elevates everything that you do. Like I wake up every day, I love what we do. It's hard work, but like I'm working with one of my closest friends in the world. We're genuinely helping lives. We're passionate about the things we do. You guys see whenever someone talks about generators or options, I'm like, ooh. So you know what? I'm happy that you guys get to experience that same kind of love and joy. Like it truly makes me happy.
We have to touch on this for a moment longer because I literally had this thought the other day. I was driving down the road to pick up my daughter from the airport, and I'm thinking about like that expression, fastest sinking ship is a partnership, but that hasn't been our experience. It's probably why we're all here again, because you guys seem to have this too. And me and Joe, we met online, man. You're the best thing I ever found online, brother.
Yeah, I'm right there with. Normally, I would say the same, but I did meet my wife online too. So like, hey,
it was so. The cool thing about that is like, Clay, the last year when me and Eddie were on the episode 3 of your podcast, that you were talking about finding your best friend partner that shares the same wavelength as you. Like we talked about that like the last time we were hopped on together. The next year, 1 year later, there's Joe.
I
thought that's so sick. It just manifested it.
You got to tell me about this because I wasn't privy to this conversation. So share with me.
At that time, it was like a month later, though. That's how close that actually was. So
wow,
I've got this quote written on my board. And it says, "If you're a great manifester, you have to be careful what you think." And I, sirs, am a great manifester. I'm guilty as charged. But let me say one more thing here that I kind of left off. The reason, Joe, that I know for us especially, that our partnership works so good is because we share a passion for this purpose. And so what that means is every day I'm not driven by guilt or a shadow of what you're expecting me to do, or likewise, I trust you to do the things because you're passionate about this too. So there's never this moment of like, well, cross accountability that's in a negative or a shadowed, if that makes sense. It's like we hold each other accountable to do our best, but I would never ever put it across you or think about you in a way that you didn't do your best for our mission, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of partnerships don't have that.
And that it's a very mutual feeling. You know, it's one of those things where like we live on opposite sides. We live in two different countries, but I know every single hour of the day, your probably nose is the same against the keyboard as mine. We were like, we're going to grow this at every. In fact, literally this morning when we had our morning meeting, I was like gushing over all the things that we're doing with our program. Like we're implementing new lessons and we're having better recordings and we've got the app design, like all that great stuff. And I'm literally like high-fiving him over the screen because I feel so passionate about it. And I know you were the exact same way. So if anything, the four of us seem like peas in a pod.
100%, man. Couldn't say any better myself.
In fact, you know where we hold each other accountable most? This is actually laughable. It's like lunchtime.
Oh my God.
Hey, bro, do you take your break? Hey, bro, take a break. You need a break, bro. Like, slow down, brother. Hey, take some time, right? You guys find that too?
Yeah. Because me personally, I don't take lunch. Me personally, because I always find myself kind of if I do take lunch, I kind of slow down. I become kind of counterproductive, and that kind of I kind of started not taking lunch for my last career when I was traveling a lot and working on industrial machinery, where it's like everything's heavy. I'm in tight spaces, so if like I had a heavy lunch, I'm not lifting that crazy heavy motor. Like I'm not doing that. So I just naturally became not taking lunch. It's kind of easy for me to not, stop at that time.
Intentional fasting.
Yeah, basically.
well, just like I like to talk more about that a little bit, just because I was telling Clay earlier about starting Tommy Mello's book, and one thing I took away from the podcast was he's like, I did this major switch, right? Like of health first, and then Eddie has been helping me with that over the last couple of years. And it's funny because I've been having a couple of my trade partners who have been going with me to the gym now, you know what I mean? And again, Eddie takes that super serious. And so they're asking me, hey, I want to look like Eddie Cruz. Like, what is the workout he does? I'm like, well, luckily enough, he taught me the whole workout. And again, it's cool because I find myself and all of our other professional friends and like you guys, we're all kind of synchronizing, we're all coming together, and I love it. You know what I mean? It's very contagious. And, seeing you guys crushing it, it's the same way, man. We're watching you guys and we talk about you guys all the time. Like, damn, they're out there just driving. You guys are just crushing it. You know what I mean? Like Vegeta, Goku. You ever see that picture where they're just fist pumping it, man? That's like you guys, man. Like
exactly.
Appreciate that. There's an expression for this. It's called invisible leadership.
Ooh,
and we use this phrase all the time of like, don't listen to what we say, watch what we do. It's one of our most important values that's not even listed really, is congruent speech and action. But it is one of our superpowers, is like, man, we don't wait long to take action on something if we know it's the right thing to do. We just fucking move, right? It's just time to go. And on your health is where it matters most in invisible leadership, because no workforce wants to be preached about eating the fucking chips or going to the fucking gym. Excuse my F-bombs, but this is important.
No, this is super important.
Doing the
100%.
thing, leading by example. That's that invisible leadership piece that will impact your culture huge just by leading.
I mean, just go by just basic needs. Like if your body is not healthy, and if you're in a position of leadership as a business owner, how do you expect to make good, healthy decisions for your business if you're not making healthy, good decisions for yourself? We only have this meat sack that we're in. We only get one shot at it. So take care of it.
And I feel like there's a lot on the line too, like about like with the team growing and people coming on, and it's like, man, I'm not just doing it for myself, my kids, my wife, my friends, like all of our other employees and stuff too. Like they all depend on us to show up every day, right? Like 100% and give it our all. And I feel like it's my responsibility to, kind of like to put the oxygen mask on first before you can help the person next to you. Like I gotta take care of myself, be healthy, make those decisions, and be there for my team. And so and that's why I'm glad Eddie helps with me every day, like that. He takes health so serious, and I take it for granted. And so the last year I've just been taking it a lot more serious.
I want to jump into a couple of things you guys said, which was first, it's like, I've heard about the meat suit, but I've always believed that we're literally not even a meat suit. We are a bone mech piloted by a meat outside, piloted by some goo in the top of your head. Like, it's not even just a meat suit. You are literally a mech machine that is being piloted by a pile of goo, which is really cool to think about. And I love, Eddie, that you're really into physical. I always feel like, in addition, there's 3 pillars that we need to talk about, which is the physical health, the mental health and emotional health, and the spiritual health. Like, literally, when I start my day, yeah, there's a workout in the morning, but it's also intentional prayer time. And it's also making sure that I'm grounded in what I want to do for the day. Because, I mean, I don't know if you guys are fathers, but when your kids wake you up early in the morning and you're not already mentally and emotionally and spiritually prepared for it, you react differently. But even if you're not parents, think about, you have that 8 a.m. meeting or that 7 a.m. meeting with your techs, and the one never cleaned out their van, or they went through and they didn't order the material, they didn't pull it right. How you're going to react to that is going to send waves throughout your entire company culture. Did the boss yell at that guy in front of someone else? Well, was it because he didn't have a good breakfast and he was stuck in traffic because he didn't wake up on time? That's on you. Like, and we have to take ownership of that, because that's the invisible levers that people don't talk about, but it's the things that sink the most ships.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I think knowing where to draw that line too, and knowing your own self. Like, you can ask Eddie and the other team. Like, sometimes I'll wake up, I don't know why, I'm just in a bad mood, and I'm like, my team doesn't deserve this side of me. And so I'll literally send a text out, group chat, hey guys, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm in a bad mood. I'm not really in the right mindset to really kind of talk. Give me an hour and I'll be back, and I'll go on a walk. I'll do some reflection, drink some coffee, and it's like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to like be there for my team now. Like, I'm there. Like, and I'm trying to save them from that. You know what I mean? So I think being aware of like kind of what mood you're in, and kind of being able to manage that and protect others from that. They don't deserve that. You know what I mean? They deserve the best of you.
I have to tie in the importance of what you just said to a philosophy that we kind of use and speak to sometimes. And it's this idea of like what it takes to get to the next level. And it's a ladder. And there's 3 pieces to the ladder. The first side rail is your personal development. The second side rail being your process, and then the rungs being the people you add to it to help you up to that next level. And then you've got a big run to learn and get through all the challenges again before you're ready to climb, right? But what you just said was so important to that first side rail that I don't think people have gotten this at the same depth from our podcast before. So I need to go into it for a minute.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You have the awareness to say, I'm not in a good mood right now, and my people don't deserve that.
Bingo.
Most people that experience this, Edward, are like, I'm this person. I'm grumpy. I am negative all the time. I am a martyr. And they have all these identifier statements that are in their fucking heads. And what you just said is, and that may have been you at times, you may have had those identifiers, but you're doing the work. That is personal development. The self-awareness to say, hey, my team doesn't deserve this right now. I have a duty. I need to improve. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to eat my fucking Wheaties. Whatever that is, your team deserves that, and it's a better you. And that's personal development. Most don't recognize that's actually a skill, not an identity.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. And just not even beyond like your team doesn't deserve that. If you're in a bad mindset and you have a consultation call coming up, that customer, that homeowner that's reaching out to you doesn't deserve that grumpy attitude either. Because guess what? You're not going to land that sale. You're not going to be in a position to show empathy of why they're calling you. How are you going to help them? It stems so much deeper when you have that self-awareness of your mindset and where you're at, and your kind of your process, your day to day, how you wake up and go from, and you're kind of the tasks that decide to set you up for the day.
And how are you going to lead a team to help them?
Exactly.
If you don't get that in check.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And the beautiful part about it is it kind of spreads out in all directions, right? Like my conversations with my wife and even my kids are better. You know what I mean? Like me and Eddie doing like role plays and just being better communicators, like just all around. That's why again, going back, that's why I'm so happy. Just things are just in this, just good. It's good. It's all love, man. Me becoming a better person and just better listener and all these things. It's like, wow, who would have thought everything else around me gets better,
There's something that I feel like we need to call into attention here that I think is a real deciding factor of why so many people choose to use you. And it's that the average man has the emotional capacity of a teaspoon. Like that's really all we have. It's like it's just this little tiny emotional awareness.
That's it, bro.
And that's the
And
and that is like
it's angry.
90% of men, even more so in the trades. And
Yep.
yet we're trying to appeal to homeowners on an emotional basis. So you see where the gap is, where it's like I'm trying to solve an emotional problem, but I have such little grasp of my own emotions and what triggers them. How could you possibly solve their issues if you can't even comprehend your own? So the fact that
100%.
you're able to say, I recognize that I'm feeling this way right now. Clay touched on saying, like, you didn't drop an I am statement, but I'm feeling this way right now, and my team doesn't deserve it. The reason why I'm good at what I do, I mean, other than my own inner gifts, is the fact that I did years and years and years of therapy to learn who I am. Like I did therapy since like 2017 and on, every day, every week. So the thought of saying, do you understand yourself? You cannot control or influence anyone. Not that we want to control anyone, but the quote goes, you cannot influence the feelings of others until you've learned to master your own. So if
Agreed.
you can't control yourself, how could you possibly influence others?
Yep.
Dude, I'm gonna drop a weight here right now. I'm
Go
gonna
for it.
rock the boat a little bit. This
Just do it.
might sound crazy.
I got my floaties on.
I'm at a point where I don't want to hire anyone on my team if they haven't done therapy because of what that means.
You know,
It likely means that they understand this fucking weight.
Bro, normalize therapy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
normalize that shit.
Normalize
You
it.
know what I
Nothing
mean?
wrong.
Like I
Exactly.
love when my friends bring it up because it's like, yes, don't be afraid. Let's talk about it, man. You know what I mean? Like
It's
let's get
actually
into
funny
it.
enough we talk about this. One of the newest members that we brought onto the team, he has his own business as a media business, and he's going through that right now. Has a lot of head trash, and talking about it. And I talk to him all the time. It's like, dude, you got to switch your thinking. You got to change how you view that. You're viewing something that's a very positive thing, and you're viewing it in a negative way. Why are you gonna like purposely view things in a negative way? Look at the silver lining, of certain things, like, and it's awesome to see him change. It's
Yeah.
seeing that and having these talks with him every day.
Yeah, so where I met him was in BNI, you know what I mean? And we immediately vibed and connected because one of the first things he says was, let's, I want to humanize your business, you know what I mean? And I was like, ooh, I was like, I like that. And I was like, I gotta go talk to that guy. And then of course he was in the media and I'm really into cinematography and all that. And next thing you know, we're really connecting and we're doing one-to-ones and like Eddie said, he brings that stuff up. And again, I'm the type of person where I'm just like, I want to know about you, man. So he's just spilling onto me all that stuff. And I could just see like a lot of potential in this guy. And I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I want to work with him more. And I started introducing him to the team, and immediately everybody started like loving this guy. And it's just one of those things. I wasn't expecting it, but an opportunity came up where we really needed a lot of help. I saw greatness in Chris, man, and I was like, it's there, but he can't see it, but I can. And so I was like, let's bring you on, man. And it changed his life. Like he was in this dead end job. And like Eddie said, he had a lot of head trash. And because me and Eddie are always doing personal development and always bettering ourselves, let's bring this guy in. And like I said, we're just dumping everything that we're learning. Like we feel obligated to spread the knowledge, right? Spread the wisdom. So we're bringing them in and we're not asking for anything in return. Just, bro, let's help you succeed. I want to make a millionaire out of you. I want to make like we've heard before. I want to help everybody. And so he's been, and not alone, he's been crushing it for us, right, Eddie? Like he's been just, oh man, he's been such a powerhouse to the company. And he's like the power of 5 people because we picked the right guy and we're literally pulling this greatness out of him. And I can see it, man. And it's great.
I'm like chomping on the mic at this point because you're saying so much that like I'm like, oh, I can grab on that. But I really feel like you're almost like I view almost like you guys like you're like a lever with a fulcrum in the middle. And on one side is the new trade, and on the other side is the old way the trade was operated. The new trade is we advocate for therapy, we advocate for new. We push to things. We work on communicating on service. Old technology was push it down. Don't box it up. Keep it to yourself. Man up, right?
Yep.
And it's amazing how if you were operating in the old way, you would have looked at someone and been like, you know what? Maybe he's too similar to me. We're not going to match. But because you were emotionally aware, you could see something in someone that they couldn't even see in themselves. And Clay, like, what would that do for someone in their loyalty to the company? Like, hey, you found this person and you saw potential in them from the jump, and you put them under your wing and you brought them in and you said, I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself. And you gave them a seat at the table.
We
Like,
had that
you
conversation,
could
by
not
the way,
have
just
done
so
that
you
with that
know.
emotional intelligence.
Yep.
We had that conversation just recently
Yep.
the other day, because he says to me, why are you and Eddie helping me so much? Like, we literally coached him to land a $13,000 job that what was he going to send Eddie? Like $2,000 or something like that?
Yeah, he was gonna send it for like $1,000 or something like that. It's like, dude, no, you're
What?
real. You need to be selling
He
for
did.
13,000. He was
We-
so
we-
scared to send it.
We ran a clinic. We had them run his numbers real quick and come up with that number. It wasn't like fluffed up or anything. It was his real numbers, and he didn't want to send it because he didn't think it was worth it. He sends it, gets the job, gets a 50% down deposit. So a few weeks, fast forward, we're at a networking thing together, and he goes, bro, why are you guys helping me so much? Like, not that I would ever leave. He's like, but aren't you afraid of me leaving? I was like, yeah, you could. I was like, but I don't want you here just for a paycheck. Like, I want you here because you believe in the vision. You're down to wake up every day and run this mission with us. You know what I mean? And so if I can eliminate all these other worries that you have, because I know he's trying to get into a new place, I want to help him get there. And if I can help him get there, that leaves all that other stress. He can focus on the mission that we have. And he goes,
Yep.
yeah, just so you know, I'm never leaving Ion Electrical. He's like, I could be making millions and I'm still not leaving. And I was like, see, right there, that's what I want.
Here's the
Bingo.
dichotomy. Our greatest success will be realized through the leverage of other people, right? And everyone's on this journey, as we've discussed with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if we help elevate people, there can be a lot of loyalty there. And you know what? Is it really forever? Probably not. Statistically not.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I don't doubt that he'll give you his best for a while, as long as he possibly can on this journey, so long as they're aligned and in parallel. Because here's a dichotomy of management versus leadership. As a manager, we need everyone to be replaceable and feel irreplaceable. As a leader, we need to invest in people so much that they could leave and do it themselves, but make it so easy for them to stay that they don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Massive.
100%.
You said something really cool. I got to transition this. Humanize business. I love that he said that. Because that's what I feel we do at a time when, and we're going to get into the innovation side now, at a time when AI is taken over and we start getting questions about, well, should I have an AI phone call answering service? Should I have AI engage with my customers? Should I be doing less personal engagement? And we find that actually we're kind of like the old way sticks in the mud in this regard of like, no, at a time when everything's going to automation, we're still taking a strong stance for the humanized aspect and service as the highest form of distinction. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Ooh, so I have strong feelings about AI stuff.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I agree. Obviously, you don't want automated calls. Any type of call should definitely be human interaction for sure. But AI is such a good tool to use at any level of your business that right now, you should, any level of business, whether you're a big one or small one, you should be learning how to utilize AI, how to incorporate in some way in your business, whether it's used to kind of, again, sees the email come in, uploads to your CRM or whatever. Is there something that it could do to help you streamline a lot of stuff, or whether it's immediate response via text and just have them go through their process, whether it's them sending you photos or whatever, or scheduling a phone call. But it's such a great tool to use and benefit from, because it's so early stages right now with AI. If you're not positioning yourself to learn how to use it and surround and be comfortable around it, you're going to be left off in the races 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like what kind of kept going at Eddie's saying is like, use AI to enhance the customer experience. You know what I mean? Like what Eddie said earlier, time kills deals. So, we have a customer that I got to reach out to where she's an introvert. She doesn't like to hop on a call, you know what I mean? All that. So she'd rather talk through email and text and all that. And so I'm like, I want to meet those people too, where they're at. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they just want to know, like my wife, I just want to know what price. I just want to be educated a little bit on some things. I want to be able to go to the website and quickly see kind of what to expect when you're working with Ion, or even maybe some rough prices, you know what I mean? What the process looks like. Maybe you got some common questions. I'm working currently on an AI chatbot that I'm teaching it to be an MIT graduate, Harvard graduate in psychology, in getting to the motive for people, and I'm gonna fine tune the chatbot to ask those type of questions when you come to the website. If you want to know more, it's not going to be like these bullshit chatbots that we've seen before. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about it's going to feel authentic. You're going to know it's AI because we're transparent, but at the same time, I want people to at least get what they're looking for really quick, and I want them to feel like, whether they left the website or they got off the call with us, that they learned something. And AI is going to help with a lot of that. Like, we can go on for hours, but like what Eddie said, there's a lot of these menial things that
because
quickly gets things to the customer, you know what I mean, right away. And I think that enhances the experience.
Because you have to think about it, what the customer clientele you have nowadays, the common clientele was a generation that grew up with computers and technology. So you have to connect with them as well, alongside us. As far as still older people, the generation that want to hop on the phone traditional ways, but we also got to still, benefit and try to attract those customers and new homeowners that grew up in an age of all technology and the internet.
Yeah,
You grow up with
someone answering the phone
right?
will never go away. By the way, just so you know, like we will always have a person answering the phone.
Oh, 100%.
Like there are some tried and true old school things that you do not get rid of that like 100 years ago they were still doing, and they're still doing today that are tried and true. I'm just saying, use what works with AI to enhance your business, or else you're going to get left behind. Everybody else is going to be doing it. They're going to be wondering, how are they operating so efficient? You know what I mean? It's because AI gives you the power of 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In many ways.
So I completely respect where you're coming from there, where you're like, I'm using it like a tool in the places where a human could not do these things. So it's like I'm treating it like it's a robot, using the things for mechanical work and streamlining effects. So totally fine there, and you're good with the human aspect. But you said one thing that just kind of caught me, and I wasn't able to quite get away with it, which was on your website you have lists of pricing. What do you mean? Like, can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, why would you want to have pricing listed?
Oh, just like average prices based on certain installs. So that way, when you if they see those prices already, those average costs of what it looks like for a service upgrade, when you have a phone call, when you hop on the call with them, they already kind of know what to kind of hear. At that point, send some photos, we'll get dive a little bit deeper, and there's kind of the conversation doesn't have to go as long for you to get out there, get to do a consultation fee or whatever, or get them to lock in a schedule. Let's say if they see average cost for a service upgrade on a price on our website. Hey, I saw your average cost. That looks good. I want to move forward. How does it look like? What's your guys' process be hopping on the schedule? Fantastic. 50% deposit, get you locked in the schedule, move forward.
And guess what? If they don't like the price, they're not gonna call you. You know what I mean? Like I was probably gonna tell that to them on the phone anyways, but you know what I mean? So
something about that,
we can go deep into it, but yeah.
Would you guys mind? Because I feel like I actually have a very strong opposition stance to it. And I don't mind if you guys entertain it, but like, hear me out.
For sure.
So one of the reasons why I felt like my average was so high, like I maintain a pretty consistent 80% close ratio, was because I didn't invite any pricing in the front, but I was able to design options with a full range, from like the finest that money could buy to the most bare bones basic someone could possibly come up with. And as a result, when you had something for everyone, they could get in at whatever level they wanted to. So when someone has an average price, I'm just going to take a couple of guesses and you tell me if I'm off on this. It could be like, hey, I want to get a panel changed. I want to get a generator. I want to get an EV. Like whatever it is, they might look it up. An EV charger, an average price, what's the range? Because you could get a panel with an NEMA 50 outlet right underneath it, and someone could call that a charging system. Or you could get someone who says, you know what, I want to have a rapid charger. Like there's even some prototype technologies where you could drive over a charger and have the wireless electricity carry it. Like there is a lot of things that you can do. So how would one be able to create a range for that? By all means.
Let me check real quick, Eddie. So, I think context matters, right? You know what I mean? So all the things that you just said, the goal, and it's I don't think it's on the current website. We just went live with a new version. We're going to be fine tuning it. But basically we go over those things. We try to summarize it. And again, we're trying to use it as a tool where we're all about the bracketing, right? Like you're never going to always get it exact because that's where the phone console comes from. That's where the pictures come from. But we know our numbers probably down to like the dollar, man. Like we know our numbers tight. And so when we give those ranges, they're going to be bracketed. Like you said, okay, you want to charge your car. You're trying to do level 1, level 2. You're trying to just throw a plug. Like and it's going to have all those explanations on there. Like, again, if I'm on a call, I'll be like, hey, do you mind going to our website real quick? Yeah, okay. if you look on there, as we're talking, if you look at kind of what we have here, where do you see yourself possibly falling on here? Are you just trying to go a plug? Or are you trying to go bi-directional? Like which you know what, looking at it, I'd probably somewhere in the middle. I think I like level 2. I'm not trying to do bi-directional. Okay, roughly in the past, because we like to use social proof, right? You know, our past customers, they've paid on average this X amount. Let's call it 10,000 to keep the numbers easy. Okay.
Sure.
And then you shut up and you just see kind of, was that in their don't give a fuck number that they had? Because everybody has it. I have it. You guys all have it. I don't try to predict your wallet. I don't try to sell you anything. I don't try to force anything on you. I just want to see if it even makes sense for us to go on a second date. If 10,000 to you, we get it all the time. You know what? I was expecting more. Okay, that's great. Do you mind if we kind of dive deeper into this? And we have a lot of questions we try to ask to get to that motive where we could get it down to the dollar. And it says, we're going to send you an actual detailed quote now, but we want to find out right from the jump if it makes sense to keep going, because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they're like, I only had like $500. You know what? God, I could have just wasted a lot of time driving out there, spending windshield time. I would have wanted to know right away, just real quick. Does it make sense to get into the details or not?
Go ahead, Clay. You can tell.
I just want to give just a little bit of context, because this is a really healthy debate that a lot of people have in their own head even, right? So on one side, we've got Ion Electrical, who is essentially pre-qualifying a bit by using website. And you are, I will give you a huge benefit here. Congrats for actually trying to educate them and ask brilliant questions at that time, because we believe in educating people. That's what we do too.
Correct.
In our process, the difference is that we actually invest in people and consider the qualification, the fact that they reached out to us in the first place. So it's just a different timing. But as a result, anyone who even shows any remote interest in us gets to experience our service. And absolutely, we invest windshield time. And as a goal, like Joe achieved, 80% conversion still on those. Go ahead, Joe.
So one big example that comes up is, let's say we follow that same logic, right? And we're like, okay, I want my charger. I feel like that would almost hamstring us to an extent. And let me explain how. So let's say you tell them you've got a range between $500 and $10,000. Well, obviously, it's a pretty big range. Someone may not know where they're going to be at, but you could be tight, right?
I don't want to mean to interrupt you, but we have bracketing. So there's actually a middle one. There's those 3 options. Everybody likes to have the 3. So that's
trying to simplify.
I'm saying we don't have big swings like that. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're keeping it close to what we actually do. For the sake of accuracy.
The reason why I had brought it up was there were specific situations that have come up for me where I remember one great example was a bed and breakfast we had done work for, where the customer came by and said, I'm looking for a price, like over the phone. I want to know how much it's going to cost for you to replace 2 outlets. That's all it was. That's all they qualified it for, right? Now, normally people would be like, well, what's an outlet going to cost? Anywhere between $150 to $450, somewhere around there, right? We didn't do that. Instead, we said, well, I'll be happy to come on out. We'll do an evaluation. We'll see what's required. And that's going to be that. While we were on site, we found out that there was aluminum wiring. And we found out that he had a 400 amp service that was extremely old. We found out that he wanted 5 charging systems, 5 Tesla charging systems. We found out that they actually want a generator backup. Now, we went from a $300 to $400 call that if we had given him a price over the phone, he was very, very strict with his money. He had it, but he was very, very strict with it. He may have very well declined us. But by us being there and investing in the company, investing in like the customer and learning about them, we ended up landing a 30,000 plus job. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say, I think part of that too, again, that's why being a good communicator is key, because I wouldn't just tell them the price. I'd probably want to figure out like why are you getting that? Like,
way before they're dropping that money, or if they're talking about the money.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, and then really pulling more information out of that. I do it all the time. Do it at Home Depot. I literally sold a site visit I'm going to do for my doctor when I had an anaphylaxis reaction and I was at the hospital. My throat was closing up, hit me with the EpiPen. He sees my bag over there. He sees the logo because I just got off work. And we're just talking, and next thing you know, I find out he's really into technology. I find out he's really into saving energy. You know what I mean? I got a whole bunch of information from him just from the spirit of conversation. Next thing you know, he asked me, well, how much does it usually cost? I can never usually find it like anywhere. Well, on average, we charge this much. He goes, actually, you know what? I was expecting like way more. He goes, do you mind coming out? Of course. Of course I don't mind coming out. Like, let's dive into it. I was able to do all that from a hospital bed just because I've been training myself to have really rich, deep conversations, to pull all that out just from the conversations. Of course I want to go to your house, but I just want to first find out, like, not even just price. If you're being an asshole to me on the phone, I protect my time and I protect my guy's time. So there's a lot you can get just in a few minutes of conversation.
Yep.
I've proven it time. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, because I love you guys and I want to incorporate what works. You know what I mean? But I think there is something to the transparency. You know what I mean? When it comes to it, and there's context matters, man, a lot. You just don't throw numbers out. And then the other thing I was saying too was we believe in the same thing too, where people, they don't just buy right away. You know what I mean? At least I don't. I do lots of research. I go visit websites. I read reviews. You know, so with the website being used as a tool, I'm going to be pumping out, like I said, the content, because when they choose to call us right away, like you said, Clay, I see that as already as a qualifier. And I want the people to call us because the guy was like, I'm really thinking about getting an EV. And he types in, you know, how do I choose the right EV? How do I pick the right whatever? I want my blog to show up. I want him to click on it. I want him to be educated and get hyped about it because I answered all his questions. And then I want him to fill out the form to call me, because when he calls me now, the call is a lot shorter. It's a lot more efficient. We can get right to his specific needs. And I don't really have to answer all those little common universal questions that they have. And I'm going to do that with video. I'm going to do it with blogs.
Yep.
That's why I'm the doctor of electricians, because I'm going to subscribe electrical solutions. So I don't care if you don't call me right now or in a year from now. You're going to call me when you're ready, because I helped you get there.
You know,
that's just the way I see it, the philosophy with it.
It's amazing because I feel like we truly are running a parallel. We want to get to the same location. We want to get to that same location for the same reason. And we want to help and educate our customers along the way and make them feel human. We're just not in agreement on giving them the price up front. And that's okay. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I respect what you guys are trying to do. And I love the fact that you can have a rich conversation while getting an EpiPen to the thigh. Like, you got to give yourself some credit for that. Like,
I can't help
you know what I
it.
mean?
I can't help it. I genuinely love this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the people, and I want people who I'm talking to feel that same energy. You know what I mean? Like, when you call me, I want you to call me because you're looking for this thing that you want to do. You're not calling me because, and maybe you are window shopping, but I'll be able to find that out right away. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I'm never trying to sell you anything. I just want to find out, is this a relationship that we should continue? And if it is, let's come out. Let's take a look. I don't mind taking pictures. We're going to fine tooth comb. Me and Eddie got a job because of that.
Yep.
He talked to him on the phone, did the phone consultation. He loved it. I told Eddie, you know what? I have the responsibility now to keep that going. So when I get out there now, I'm going to give him that white glove service. Answered all his questions, answered as much as possible. And we got an email saying, man, I just loved everything from the phone consultations to when Edward came out. We were way more expensive, but because Eddie kind of got him pre-qualified with all those deep level questions, really getting to the motive.
Exactly. It wasn't too much about the pre-qualifications. Just like hearing him out, listen to him, just shutting the fuck up and just listening to him speak. Let him ask the right questions. Let him pour out why is he getting the span smart panel? Why?
Yeah, it's almost like
it's like, and he just exploded it. Well, I want to find out all these details as far as, like, you know, why my electric bill is so high and this and that. Oh man, well, how high has your electric bill been? Well, I've been paying this much. Damn, well, shit. How long have you been paying that? I can't believe it. Empathizing with them.
I can give you an ROI immediately. You know what I mean? What do you mean by that, Edward? Do you mind if we get into it? Can I get technical with you real quick? Because a lot of people don't like that, by the way. Sometimes they get glossy-eyed, so you got to ask permission sometimes. Can I get technical with you real quick? Yes. Okay, let's go. And then you start getting into it. You know what I mean? So again, it's all about kind of leading that conversation, but also not throwing up on them. And I don't know, there's a whole philosophy that immediately just dive as much as possible. Because we care about that the most above everything else.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I love that. It's a good way of viewing it is you're educating to enhance the relationship, not to detract from the relationship. By you understanding the authority and the professionalism I have, that's based in a strong understanding of education and technology, I can use that expertise to serve you. But I'm not saying it so that you think better of me. It's so that you can visualize what's in your future and in your potential of your home with your family. Notice how there's a lot of your
story.
Yes, it's your story.
You guys pick up on that, right?
This is your story. It's not about us. We can brag about ourselves all day long. It's about you. All day long, it's about you, and we want to make sure we get that to a T. But I want to bridge that gap, though, like you were saying, because it's not that like we disagree with anything you guys are doing. If anything, our problem is, you know, it's just two of us. Like when we grow our team,
Yeah.
when our guys are out there, I want them to sound like you guys. I want them to have that, like being able to go in there. We got this doing this job, and all of a sudden hey man, all of a sudden they're bringing in way more money now because they were able to use the tactics that we've seen you guys teach.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I see it almost as a compliment to our system. Like we're handling it, I feel great on one end, but if I'm being honest, there's this other side that we're really lacking on, and that's having that continuity across the team entirely. And we just don't, I feel like we don't have the resources or the strategy. And I'm like, me and Eddie, we always want to learn. So that's why we love you guys so much, because I can't wait to bring you guys into the fold, because you guys are going to boost that like crazy on that side. You know what I mean? And that's the part where me and Eddie, we don't have egos, man. Like we're all about bringing all the best people, all the, and you guys are
Forever student, man.
You guys are like brothers to me, even though we never seen each other in person. And so I told you, you can't escape our love. You know what I mean? So it's going to happen.
No, absolutely. It just...
Sorry, Eddie, I didn't want to cut you off. But
just
if I can, just quick. Just one of the things that's important to always recognize is like 5 days a week we go live. We spout off information based on our experience and what our clients are experiencing. We know the wins that we have. We know the reasons why for everything, because Joe is so absolutely beautifully gifted at having a why, never just saying something, but a why. And so what also is important to recognize, though, is what you're saying is not defaced at all, right? Like I'm not looking at your books. If you guys aren't having a call booking rate issue, then I wouldn't suggest changing anything anyway. Like every business needs to also recognize how their KPI and those bottlenecks work. Just because we have a disagreement on when to qualify and how we're doing that doesn't actually mean there's a change required there, if I can just say that. Now, if we're on here and you're holding to that, and at the same time you're telling me, oh, I got a 20% call booking rate, we can't get anyone to the house, we're not getting the right calls, so I'm going to dial up SEO to get more of those leads, so that, like, that would be a different thing, and it would be kind of like a... But if that's not the problem, that's not the problem. Sorry, Eddie, I had to throw that out there.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just continue to add on with what Eddie was saying. Is just, that was honest, like we want everybody that's on site to kind of start to think and talk the same as both me and Eddie when we talk on the phone with customers. That way it's just continuity. Everybody's on the same mindset, able to talk, and again, be able to do what you did, Joseph. You went on site and found other things wrong. It's, oh my God, and just extrapolate more and turn a small project into a large project.
I want all electricians to be like that, man. We just don't have the capacity or the strategy like to do something like that,
I honestly think there's one major reason why. And you know how it circles back to the emotion again, because so many people have view of sales as something that's bad. And it's something that they think they're doing to someone. I've always believed that sales is doing it for someone. Like if I were to go into your home and as a professional, I noticed that something was either unsafe or I noticed something that could be enhanced, would it be wrong of me to at least let you know about it? It's like, obviously people aren't going to say no. They're like if I came to your home, Eddie and Edward, if I came to your homes and I were like, hey, I recognize that there's a piece of technology that could either save you money or enhance the quality of your life or make you more comfortable or give you more time, were you going to kick me in the chest for telling you that?
No.
But so many techs have this feeling of like, you'd be thanking me right there. You'd say like, thank you for that. But so many techs have this feeling of, if I give you a number, they'll see me as trying to sell you on something. And I just want to create that break and say, it's not you trying to sell. I love creating options, but because it educates and expands the level of professionalism, but also it really underlines, I'm here to serve you. I could not have offered 6 options if I didn't know your why, if I didn't know your family, if I didn't know what you were doing in the future, why you're doing it, why does it matter, why now? But by learning those rich conversations, now we can create those conversations.
And that ties perfectly into... Go ahead, Eddie, quick.
I was just saying that builds that repertoire when you're talking to the customer. Now they trust you. They trust you to be in their home and their space. So it's like, and that's where everything started. Like, when we first hopped on here, is just a big major thing for me is just being a better communicator, asking the right questions. When I do have a consultation call, position myself in a mindset, hey, I'm just having just talking to this person. Just
Mhm.
talking to them, have a conversation with them, like you're at the bar having a beer. That's just going back and forth, seeing for a good fit, and go from there.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. It ties perfectly into a podcast we did just a couple of days ago, really talking about how, we do service, not sales. And really, even recommendations are a dangerous thing to place at someone's house. Because really, what we want to do is just have a system like we do in our observations, explaining our four whats, which is always what they called for, right? And what's good about their system. So they know, hey, I'm here as a friend too. I'm not just someone here to slam you and try to sell you something, right? What we found that we know and they wouldn't, right? You don't know what you don't knows, but then what else could be done based on the whys that we discovered and how to improve the quality of life and time delay and effort and sacrifice. And that's so huge, guys. But that said, we've got to wrap this up because we're going long here. We didn't even get to everything we wanted to because these chats are so rich with you guys. I think it's obvious. I mean, it's got my vote to have
we
you
gotta bring
guys
him
on
back
again.
Let's hop on. Yeah, let's do it.
We gotta bring it
We're
back.
running back.
Brother.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Yeah,
Run the
in
play.
near future. Anything you guys wanted to say outside of I do want to make sure people know how to reach out to you guys, how to follow you on social media, how to see what Ion's up to. But is there anything else you wanted to add to this podcast?
I guess.
Just www.ionelectricalllc.com. I'm super excited about it. We just revamping the website, and there's a lot more to come. So just keep visiting because it helps SEO.
Same on Instagram. Instagram handle is also Ion Electrical LLC, and I believe we also have a TikTok. It's also the same one as well, right?
Yep. That's going to be all on the website, and
YouTube
just
Shorts.
stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff
Marketing
coming,
to Gen
so-
Z.
Oh yeah, gotta get in there. And I guess
you got it.
beyond that, drink your fucking water, people.
Stay hydrated.
Yes, nothing wrong with
Stay
you.
hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
I agree. Clay, are
Okay.
you the only one everyone hold it up? Is Clay the only one without a head-sized jug next to his He's got a little
I've got a hip-hop
frozen
coffee mug
rocking
empty.
64-ounce, 48-ounce cups.
Okay.
Dang, bro, it's got
Honest
that
to
dark
God,
chocolate
I've
milk
got
in
a
it.
big water jug and someone in the family has misplaced it. I know that later I will find out I put it in a special place and finally found it, but that's my excuse. Guys, this has been another effort to help you. If you're listening or engaging with us live, if you had questions, please throw them down. Talk to us where you heard us on your favorite podcast channel or reach out to us on serviceloopelectrical.com. This has been another effort to help you master your sales, simplify your pricing, and deliver premium level electrical service. I know this episode's going to help you too, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks, gents.
Honored.
Thank you,
Honored to
guys.
serve you.
Thanks.